Hello everyone, what's up? It's me again, JunkMonster3, and yeah, I'm finally back with a new update video. I know I may not made the top 5 of the month for the month of September or the horror-thon video yet for October, but I'll eventually get to that. I just felt like I needed to make this video before the movie really stacks up. The movie stacks up, and I don't really know where to put them, and I don't really remember which films I've showed you on the updates. So that's the reason why I decided to make this update video before I make those videos. So well, with further ado, let's begin. This is going to be a VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray update. And like usual, when it comes to the DVDs, I start with the non-horror titles, and then I end it with the horror titles. And the last thing for this update video is going to be the Blu-ray. So yeah, but we'll start with the VHS tapes. First up, we have a film which... Oh, I really should have looked this up beforehand, because for some reason this doesn't even really have the you know what, I need to check this one up right away. Just 1 second. IMDb. What the hell is this called in English? I'm just mad. It's directed by John Hayes. Is that his name? John Hayes. Is that the guy? Well, for some reason I can't seem to find this film. No, that's the name of the film. Mama's Dirty Girls. Oh, sorry, that just took like 2 minutes of this video. But anyway, Mama's Dirty Girls. Never seen this one before, but looks really entertaining. Looks like a really entertaining, like, exploitation type film. And then I picked up Amin, which is apparently about Idi Amin, the dictator of Uganda. This is from 1981, so it's sort of like a biography type of film, I believe. So yeah, looks really interesting. And then I picked up this one. I mainly picked this one up because of the title. The title sounds really interesting. Now this is from the late 90s, and I believe this is like an Australian or New Zealand film. I'm not really sure, but it's directed by Scott Hartford Davis. So if you want to look that up, you can look that up on IMDb. But Witch Hunt. Yeah, that title alone, that's really the main reason why I picked it up. So yeah, who knows? Could be good, could be bad. Then I picked up this one. I don't think this movie has ever gotten a DVD or Blu-ray release, but I kind of wish it had. I've seen this before online, and I thought this was really hilarious in a sort of like a so bad it's good type of way. Jungle Wolf. And this, if you look this one up on YouTube, be sure to check out the main theme of this song, or like this film, because the main theme is really funny, and it kind of feels like whenever this action hero is supposed to like man up and like arm himself, they always show like they always play that song, and it's so hilariously stupid that it's kind of fun. Well, next one we have a film with William Shatner called The Babysitter. And just based on this cover art, it kind of looks like a horror film. But I've read somewhere it's more of a drama film than anything else. But this is a made-for-TV film from the 1980s, early 1980s. But yeah, I mainly picked it up because of the cover art, I'm just going to be honest. With the knife there, it just kind of looked really interesting. So yeah, The Babysitter. Then we have a film which I mainly picked up because I read a little bit about it, and apparently it takes place out in the woods. And I usually am a big fan of those type of films, so yeah. Dead Ahead from the mid-90s. 1996 to be exact, at least according to this particular release of the film. Yeah, looks interesting. I think it's another one of those made-for-TV films. It seems like some of those films never get like DVD or Blu-ray copies for some reason. Maybe it's like some sort of trouble with the rights or something. I'm not really sure. But then we have... I'm not sure if this is the original title, by the way, so... yes, just keep that in mind. But the film is called Blue Heat. Mainly picked it up because of the storyline and because of the cast. Because this one has Jeff Fahey in it, and Brian Dennehy, and Bill Paxton as well, apparently. So yeah, that sounds really interesting. So yeah, Blue Heat. I think this is known as something else as well. So yeah, keep that in mind. Then we have this one. This looks like a typical all American action film from the 80s. The film's called Double Revenge, with Joe D'Alessandro, I believe his name is. I think I mostly recognize him from Blood for Dracula, which he appeared in the 70s. This one I think was released in 1980, 86 or 87, 88, something around those years, because it doesn't say on the back. 1988 according to the back of this. So yeah, Double Revenge. So yeah, there you go. Then we have another mid 90s action film. This time with Michael Dudikoff, Soldier Boys. Apparently this takes place out in the jungle. I'm a big fan of those type of films that takes place out in the wilderness. It just seems more atmospheric in a way. I don't really know how to describe it, but yeah, Soldier Boys. So yeah. And the last VHS for this update is going to be a film called Real Bullets. Now this looks like a really entertaining B movie. Now apparently this is directed by the same guy who directed Star Crystal. So if that's anything to go by, this is going to be some really stupid, entertaining, so bad it's good type of film apparently. Or this is just my assumption. But yeah, anyway, Real Bullets. So yeah. So let's continue with the non-horror titles first. First up, we have a film called Fast Money. This is from the 90s as well, I believe, late 90s. Picked it up because of the cover art and because of the storyline. Sounds quite interesting, so yeah, there you go. And then we have a double pack with Breaker Breaker and Killer Force. I already had Breaker Breaker in the collection before. The main reason why I picked this one up was because of Killer Force. And what an amazing type of cast that is. Tilly Savalas, Peter Fonda, Hugh O'Brien, O.J. Simpson, Maud Adams, and Christopher Lee. Well, that cast. That's really the main reason why I wanted to get that film. Then we have some Japanese craziness apparently. Electric Dragon 80,000 V. I think that's how you pronounce it, but sort of a short film apparently. And this is with a guy who. It has to be the guy from, the guy from Ichi the Killer, who plays Kakihara in that film, I believe. So yeah, that looks really interesting. Then we have a comedy with John Candy. Now this film I've been after for ages, and it never seems to go down in price. I had to pay a little bit more than I usually do for a film, but you'd rarely see this for sale anywhere. And that this is like the last film he ever. I think this was the last film that he ever made before he died. Apparently, he'd made this when he died during the production. That's what I want to say. Wagons East. Not heard too many good things about this one, to be honest. But I mean, it has John Candy in it, and I used to collect anything that John Candy appears in. So yeah, there you go. Wagons East. And then we have a comedy which I have seen before. The film is called Hot Dog the Movie. I've never understood why they call it Hot Dog the Movie. I mean, I've seen the film and I don't really understand the whole thing. It just feels like, oh, what should we call our film? Oh, it's goofy. Let's call it Hot Dog the Film. Or like Hot Dog the Movie. There's another film that I want to get a hold of, which is called like Hamburger the Motion Picture or something, which is from the mid 80s. So just that one along with this, like in a double bill, that would have been really entertaining. But I don't think the Hamburger film has ever been released on DVD or Blu-ray. I think it's only it's stuck on VHS basically. But Hot Dog the Movie, quite interesting and quite funny from what I remember. Then we have another. I'm not sure if this is even a comedy. It says it's a comedy film, but this is apparently one of the worst films of all time, at least according to IMDb and other sites and whatnot. The Hip Hop Witch. Yeah, this film, I'm just gonna be honest, I wanted to see this just to see how bad it is. I've not seen it yet, but I will eventually. But yeah, we'll see if it's as bad as people say. So yeah, Die Hip Hop Witch. Then we have some blaxploitation stuff. The film is called Superfly, or Superfly. I think this had a sequel as well. I can be totally wrong about that, but it looks quite interesting, and I'm a big fan of some of those 70s blaxploitation films in general. The main actor I usually watch in those films are Fred Williamson. I think he's a great actor in those early and mid 70s blaxploitation films. Then we have Italian films coming up next. This one is Assassination with Henry Silva. Henry Silva is an actor that I've tried to get more into. Sadly passed away last year, rest in peace, but he got to be like 96 or something, I believe. But yeah, I mean, most of the films that he's been in, I've been a big fan of him, and usually when he plays the bad guy, I think that's just really the thing that he really did best. I don't think I've seen any real film that he does when where he doesn't play a good guy. But yeah, anyway, Assassination. Then we have a film with Franco Nero, and this film is called How to Kill a Judge. I do believe, I think it was, I can be totally wrong about this, but I think Vinegar Syndrome released some sort of box set which had this film included, but I mean, that box set went for stupid money, so I thought, well, I'm gonna get the Blue Underground release instead. But yeah, How to Kill a Judge. Really looking forward to this. I'm not sure if this is maybe more of a thriller than an action film. It's just what I think, but yeah. Then we have a double pack with Hustler Squad and Wild Riders. Looks like really entertaining 70s exploitation action type of films in general. I mean, some of those are kind of charming just because how stupid they are, really. So Hustler Squad looks like a women in prison film. I'm not really sure if it is. Wild Riders looks like one of those typical biker films. Some of those biker films are quite interesting, and some of them are just flat out boring and bad in my personal opinion. But yeah, I've not seen too many of those, so I can't say too much about it. So yeah. Then we have a film called Paper Bullets. This is pretty much a blind buy. This is from the late 90s, I believe. Some action thriller type of film. I don't really have anything else to say about it, but apparently it has Ernie Hudson in it and Jeff Wincott. And Jeff Wincott, yeah, that's the martial arts guy. I kind of mix him up with his brother who played in the Crow. Michael Wincott, I believe his name is. But yeah, looking forward to this one. So yeah. Then finally, I found this film. I've been after this film for quite a while. I'm a big fan of the first one. Now this is the second one, and I actually already had part 3. I think part 3 was mainly like a Christmas special type of film, but All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the first one, and Don Bluth, I think, is a very underrated director when it comes to animation in general. I think some of his films are actually much better than some of the Disney films that came out around the time. So, but anyway, yeah, All Dogs Go to Heaven 2. I've not heard too many good things about this one. I've not seen. I wouldn't say it's like I've heard only bad things about it, but I've heard it's not supposed to be as good as the first one. But I mean, I don't blame them because usually the second one doesn't live up to the first one. So yeah. Then we have this one. Apparently this is some sort of... I could be totally wrong about this one, but this kind of looks like a bootleg to me. But I think this is very, very rare to come across in general. But Intrepidos Punks. Some sort of Mexican biker exploitation film from the late 80s. Or early 80s, I'm not really sure. But looks very interesting nonetheless. So yeah. Then we have a Western film with John Wayne called The Train Robbers. Read a little bit about the plot and it sounds quite interesting. So, yeah, and John Wayne in Westerns are always a good thing, at least according to me. So, yeah, there you go. Then we have a film with... I think this is directed by the South Park guys, Trey Parker. Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I just assumed that my good friend, the DVD Review Studios, is a big fan of this. I think he's mentioned this to me sometimes, but Team America World Police. Apparently about puppets killing each other off or something. That sounds very interesting. But yeah, Captain America, World Police. Sorry, I completely butchered that title. Then we have the film called Purple Rain with none other than Prince. Never seen this film. I do like his music. I'm not sure if this is a straightforward like musical or if this is actually a film that has some sort of story in it. But yeah, looks interesting nonetheless. So yeah, Purple Rain. Then we have a film called Vinegar Hill. This is a mid-2000s made-for-TV film apparently. This has Tom Skerritt in it. He looks very old in this, even though this is made in the mid-2000s. Some sort of thriller drama film about family problems or something. I'm not really sure. It looks quite interesting nonetheless. So yeah, Vinegar Hill. Now then we have... I'm not sure if this is actually... I could be totally wrong. I think this might be some sort of like loosely... like some sort of like remake or reboot of an older film. But this film has Sybil Danning in it. And the film is called Phantom Empire. Now I think this is directed by... it doesn't say on the back, but I'm pretty sure this is directed by Fred Olen Ray. But yeah, Phantom Empire. And then last for the non-horror titles for the DVDs, we have a box set, the Fernando de Leo Crime Collection, right here. And once again, you get Henry Silva there on the front cover. And the films include Caliber 9, The Italian Connection, The Boss, and Rulers of the City. Caliber 1 I already had on Blu-ray, I believe. But the other three seems to be very hard to come across in general, so that's the main reason why I want to get a hold of this. And also, I think Henry Silva appears in, I think, 3 of these films. So, yeah, looks very interesting nonetheless. So, yeah, the Fernando de Leo collection. Crime collection, sorry. Yeah. So I said that we were done with the non-horror titles, but I just realized I had another stack of those non-horror titles. So let's get to it. The first one, we have a film called Targets with Boris Karloff. I think this might have been one of his last films he appeared in before he passed away. Some crime thriller type film. Looks very interesting. And then we have a 90s film, late 90s film, I believe, which is called 2 Days in the Valley. I'm going to be honest and nice to say that I picked it up because of that cast right there. I'm not really sure how well I can see that, but if you want to pause and see what people that appeared in this film. Now that's the main reason why I picked it up. Then I read a little bit about it. Once I've bought this film, I read a little bit about it online, and it feels like it's one of those films which has a bunch of people with different storylines that are kind of like intervened with another. I've had some really bad experience with some of those type of films because I just think they are like big bunch of like, it's just a big mess, to be fair. I'm just gonna be honest. That's just my opinion about some of those films, but it could be good. You never know. 2 Days in the Valley, yeah. Then we have a film which I've always wanted to get a hold of. The main reason is because the guy who directed this also directed the first John Guns film. So, yeah, and the film is called Gone Fishing. With Joe Pesci and Danny Glover. Just look at that cover, it's really crazy. Then we have 3 Burt Reynolds films. First up, we have the film called White Lightning. Gotta love some of those 70s and 80s cover arts in general. They're just really amazing to me. So yeah, there you go. Then you have the film. This is another Burt Reynolds film. Apparently, this is the sequel to the previous one, and this one is just called Gator. Both of these films are released by Kino Lorber, I believe. So, and some of those films that they release are usually films that never got really like DVD or Blu-ray treatment to begin with. So that's really great. Then the last Burt Reynolds film I picked up is a film that doesn't have anything to do with the previous 2, but I have seen this before and I thought it was kind of meh, kind of whatever, but I was thinking, well, I'm going to give it another chance, so yeah, the film is called Stick. Apparently, I think Burt Reynolds' character is called Stick. It's like, that's kind of like his nickname, so yeah, Stick. It was kind of mediocre, but I mean, I'm going to give it another chance. Then we have from the director of Ebola Syndrome and The Untold Story. And of course, this has Anthony Wong in it, and the movie is called Taxi Hunter. I do believe this recently got like some sort of Blu-ray treatment. Not gonna double dip on that unless I'm a big fan of this one. I never really double dip on films in general. I'm just glad that I have the film themselves. I mean, the only reason why I would double dip on a film is either if I'm a very big fan of a film, or if it turns out that the DVD that I had before has been cut in some way. So, but anyway, Taxi Hunter. Really looking forward to see that one. Then we have some more Hong Kong madness apparently. Running Out of Time, from the early 2000s, I believe. Could be late 90s as well. Not really sure, but looks really entertaining. Some of those Hong Kong films in general are really great at action. Then we have a film called Jackknife from the late 80s, and this has Robert De Niro in it, and also Ed Harris and Kathy Baker apparently. So yeah, it looks very interesting. I'm not sure if this is a drama film. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think this might be based on true events. I'm not really sure, but yeah. Then we have a German release of a film called Ministry of Vengeance. Usually when it comes to some of those German releases, I don't really care for the fact that they gotta have the German title on front of the cover art, but hey hi ho, that's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, Ministry of Vengeance, it's a late 80s action film, looks interesting nonetheless, so yeah, had to pick it up. Then we have a film with Steve Austin in it, and the movie is called Damage. Just a terrible title. I mean, just call your film Damage. I mean, come on, do something more creative. But anyway, I mean, I'm actually quite a big fan of Steve Austin. Not as in, I mean, I'm not into the wrestling stuff in general, but I think he is sort of like an underrated actor. I mean, for sure, he's not a great actor or anything like that, but I think he has a more interesting screen presence than Dwayne Rock Johnson, in my personal opinion. So I would love to see more films with this guy. But yeah, anyway, Steve Austin in Damage. So yeah, there you go. Kind of looks like a prison film. I'm not really sure, like prison fight film. Then we have a film with Brian Dennehy called A Father's Revenge. I think this is another one of those made-for-TV films. Could be one of those that are also based on true events. I'm not really sure. Then we have some more German releases. Now this film is called... Is that really the main title of the film? Yeah, Brenda Starr, I believe the film is called. I'm not really sure, but this has Timothy Dalton in it and Brooke Shields. Kind of looks like a weird Sorrow type of thing when you just look at the front cover right there. But yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, looks interesting nonetheless. Then the next two titles are films by Larry Cohen. The first one being Black Caesar with Fred Williamson. I do know this also has a sequel, I believe, which is called Hell Up in Harlem, which I would love to get a hold of, because I mean I don't really want to just have the first one. I want to have the second one as well. But I'm pretty certain I'm going to be enjoying this film because Fred Williamson in the 70s and the blaxploitation genre, I mean that can't be really bad in any way, really. So yeah, there you go, Black Caesar. Then we have the other Larry Cohen film, this time with Japhet Kotto. I'm not really sure how to pronounce his name really. The film called Bone. Now I'm not really sure, but just based on the cover art, it kind of looks like an action film. But apparently this is more of a comedy film, which is very strange. But yeah, and yeah, I'm not really sure, but apparently according to this DVD, this was his first film, so that could be interesting. And then last for the non-horror titles, I'm not really sure. I have no idea what this is really about, but it's released by Something Weird Video, and it's a double feature, which includes This Stuff Will Kill You and The Year of the Yahoo. Yeah, some of those releases are just batshit crazy. I just kind of love them. Yeah, now finally we get to the horror titles. The first four films are actually shark films. First up, we have Shark Zone. This is an early 2000s creature feature film, or creature feature, say shark film. Goddammit. But yeah, I kind of love some of those like sheep-looking shark films. They're just so fun. So yeah, Shark Zone. Then we have Roger Corman Presents, a film called Dino Shark. Yeah, I mean, it just really comes down to the fact that with all these shark films that they are kind of fun. I mean, some of them are just flat out boring and really bad, but some of them are just like really funny because they are so bad they're good. Then we have a film called Shark Week. Now the premise for this sounds very interesting. It's apparently about people that get stranded on an island or something, that try to escape, and it's sort of like a game, like some sort of game show or something, and they have to escape from sharks or like battle sharks or something. Looks very interesting, or like the premise sounds very interesting. So yeah, Shark Week. Then we have a film called Shark in Venice. Yeah, another one of those probably shitty shark films, but could be fun. Then I'm not really sure if this is a straightforward like horror film, but this is directed by Alex de la Iglesia. I believe this is one of his first films he directed. Acción Mutante. Pardon my Spanish, but yeah, that's the best I can do. Never seen this before, but I always wanted to see it, so yeah, there you go. And then we have Repo, the genetic opera. Repo, the genetic opera, yeah. Some sort of weird horror musical type film, I believe, so yeah, there you go. And then after that, we have a film which I've only heard bad things about, but some of those films I just want to get a hold of and want to watch just because to see how bad they are. Dracula 3000, which has Casper Van Dien in it and Udo Kier. Yeah, only heard bad things about that, but could be fun. Then we have a Mexican. I think this is a Mexican horror film called Poison for the Fairies. Now, apparently, this is a more um, aimed towards children. I'm not really sure. I mean, on IMDb it says it's a horror family film, which is, I mean, you rarely hear those type of genres like combined. That sounds very weird. But yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get a hold of this, or like the main reason why I picked it up to begin with. So, yeah, Poison for the Fairies. Then we have another release by Something Weird Video. Now, I'm not really sure if this is a straightforward horror film or not, but the cover art kind of looks like it. But Confessions of a Psycho Cat. Yeah, there you go. Really fun looking cover art. And then we have two films by Ed Wood. I think I've only seen one of his films before, and I think that was Night of the Ghouls. Was that the one? No, that wasn't Night of the Ghouls, or was it? No, it wasn't Night. I'm not really sure. It was like some sort of horror spoof film with Bill Lugosi being on like some sort of mad doctor or something. You probably know the film right now, but these are the films. Well, could that be the one? I'm not really sure, but anyway, these are the films by Ed Wood: Bride of the Monster and Night of the Ghouls. Like I said before, I could have seen some of those before. I'm not really sure, but yeah, they kind of blend together for me. So yeah, there you go. Then we have a horror film called Armor. Right there. That's the reason why I used to do that, because I don't want to get flagged. So Armor, some sort of newer giallo film apparently. So that sounds interesting. And then we have a French horror film called Trouble Every Day from the early 2000s. Yeah. And then we have a Vincent Price film that I always wanted to see called Cry of the Banshee. Once again, really amazing looking cover art. Simple, but really cool. And then we have a film called Rottweiler from the early 80s, which I have seen before, which I thought was alright. This is known as something else as well, like Dogs from Hell or something, or Hounds from Hell or something like that. This is directed by Worth Keeter, so if you know about that guy, you probably know about this film as well. So yeah, Rottweiler. Then we have a film which I also seen before. This is kind of a stupid type of film, but it has some redeeming qualities to it. Pterodactyl with Coolio, rest in peace. This is from the mid 2000s, and this is directed by Mark L. Lester, I believe. Yeah, Mark L. Lester, who is probably most famous for directing the Class of 1984 and Commando, I believe. So yeah, there you go, Pterodactyl. And then we have a German or Austrian film, not really sure which country it is, but Antibodies. Some sort of extreme horror film from the early 2000s. Looks really crazy and really mad. And then we have a Japanese horror film called Infection. Sorry for the glare, you can barely see what it says on the front cover because it's one of those, yeah, weird looking slip covers, but yeah, Infection. Yeah. And then we have a, I'm not really sure, I think this is a Chinese horror film called In Love with the Dead. So yeah, there you go. So now we're gonna end it with the Blu-rays. First up, we have a film which I haven't seen before, which I thought was alright, but Double Exposure. The whole storyline behind this one kind of reminded me of the case of Rodney Alcala, the game show killer, whatever his name is, just based on what this is about. So yeah, looks interesting. I mean, I've seen it before, but I'm really looking forward to rewatch it again. That's what I want to say. So yeah. Then we have a Japanese film by Shinya Tsukamoto. I probably butchered his name. It's the guy who's probably most famous for directing the Tetsuo films. So Kotoko. Sorry, my Japanese ain't very good. Yeah, looks very entertaining. I mean, Shinya Tsukamoto, he usually makes some very interesting and weird type of films. So yeah. Then we have a Western film from the 60s, I believe, called Requiem for a Gringo. Requiem for Gringo, sorry. Yeah, looks quite interesting right there. Then we have a film which I have seen before as well. This is a slasher film from the 80s which I've only seen once, but I have very, very like vague memories from this one. I don't really remember too much about it, but Evil Judgment, about some killer priest, I believe, going around killing people or something. So, yeah, that's just what I remember. That could be totally wrong, but yeah. Then we have Thunder and Lightning with David Carradine, some sort of car chase film, or at least according to the front of this, it kind of looks like that. So, yeah. Then we have a film by Juan Lopez Montezuma, I believe his name is. He's the guy who directed Alucarda and what was that other film he directed? Oh, never mind. Mary Mary Bloody Mary, and this is a Code Red release, so that's another reason why I want to get a hold of it. So yeah. Then we have more Japanese stuff. This is Takashi Miike's film Terraformers. It kind of looks like a weird space adventure or something. Yeah, whatever. Then we have a film by Jack Hill, I believe. This is his film called Pit Stop, an Arrow release. So yeah. Then we have another Arrow release of a film called Comic, or The Comic. I'm not really sure. This is apparently a British horror film from the mid 80s. Not really heard too many good things about it, but I want to judge for myself before I do anything else. So yeah, Comic, The Comic. Then the last couple of things in this update video are going to be 3 box sets. First up we have Cold War Creatures, right there. And this one includes, let's see, Creature with the Atom Brain, The Werewolf, Zombies of Moratau, and The Giant Claw. I've recently gotten more and more into those 50s, like 40s, 50s, and 60s, like monster films in general. I think they're very charming. So yeah, there you go. And then the last ones are these Homegrown Horrors Volume 1. And this one has Fatal Exam, Beyond Dream's Door, and Winter Beast in it. I've never seen Fatal Exam. I don't really think I've ever heard about that film before. Beyond Dream's Door, I think I have a very, very old DVD release of, but I've never seen the film. And Winter Beast, I think I saw online like years and years ago, and that was kind of a fun, really low budget type of film. So yeah, that was quite interesting. And then the last one is the other box set in that series or whatever, Homegrown Horrors Volume 2. And this one has Hanging Heart, Moonstalker, and Dead Girls in it. Now, Hanging Heart is the only one which I have never seen before, and a film that I've always wanted to see, because I don't think this was ever released basically anywhere before Vinegar Syndrome put this one out. Moonstalker I have in a very old DVD release. I think it's a really old Swedish DVD release. And I thought it was kind of fun. It kind of meh, but still kind of whatever. And Dead Girls, I think it was quite funny. So yeah, whatever. So yeah, that's the entire update video. Sorry it took like half an hour, but yeah. Anyway, keep your eyes open for the next video. It's probably going to be the top 5 of the month for September, and after that I'm gonna do the horror-thon video. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this particular video, and yeah, see you in the next video. So bye bye.